Holy Ghost is on the move.
Yeah, Firebirds had a lot of momentum.
Right from the jump for the Firebirds, who look really good.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chapman Arena for our second game of our quadruple header of basketball today, and our second of our 2 JV games in said quadruple header. I'm Caden Stewart.
I'm Jack Dobbins.
And now we have our first Ghost game of the 2 games, where we have our Ghost JV team taking on the Harry S. Truman JV team. So for Ghost, it's the same roster as always: Zach Sharlin, Aden Brody, Aden McDonald, Robbie Segarich, Mark Stenardo, Dean Bergkoetter, Jeremiah Muturi, Brandon Bass, Scott Harkins, Colin McGrenehan, Tommy Nahill, Charles Steinmetz, and Connor Graham. However, Thomas Nahill will be inactive, so Charles Steinmetz starting in his place. So for Truman, it'll be in order of number: King, Winton, Blunt, Chapman, Banks, Tukariski, Vaughn, Fernandez, Armand, Thomas, Lennon, Rogers, and Kiermol. So 4 7-minute quarters coming our way. As we just saw, Neshami defeats William Tennant in dramatic fashion 47-44 after 3 costly fouls at the end by William Tennant. So on the floor to start for the Firebird is Segarich, Stenardo, Harkins, Steinmetz, and Sharlin. Steinmetz goes on for the tip-off, and he tips right back to himself, and now Steinmetz goes right back. So Dean Bergkoetter and Harkins, Bergkoetter starts with the ball. Bergkoetter, Sharlin. Sharlin underhands into the rim with Segarich, and he couldn't finish. Rebounded by Steinmetz, brings out to the corner. Steinmetz to the top of the key again. It's Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter passes back across to Mark Stenardo. Stenardo down to Zach Sharlin. Sharlin back out Segarich. Segarich to Stenardo. Stenardo right back to Sharlin. Sharlin twisting back and forth. Sharlin back up the top. Stenardo, it's a long 3. It's no good. And rebounded by Harry S. Truman. But the Firebirds killed the first 45 seconds of the game on the offensive possession. And now Truman takes up across half court.
A lot of good passing right there. I mean, that shows a lot of potential for the connections we have in this game. This mic's not working.
So a long 3-point attempt from Harry S. Truman does not work out. So now Dean Bergkoetter charging into the paint. He's fouled and 1. Dean Bergkoetter lays it in for 2, and he'll go to the line for an and 1. So his 1 foul shot is up and good. The Firebirds take a 3-point lead.
And that makes up for the points they didn't get on that first offensive possession.
Now Truman, a bobbling pass, and it's an Odell Beckham-style save on the near sideline. So here is Vaughn. It's a long 3. It's no good. Rebounded in the paint by Robbie Segarich. Segarich taking up across half court. Segarich after the side. Wide open Steinmetz for 3. It's Charles Steinmetz. It's another triple, and it's 6-0 Firebirds.
Good play right there. Just pull up, shoot it, might as well risk it. And it went right in for a 6-0 lead.
Oh. Now Harry S. Truman takes it right back up the court and responds with a 2-pointer of their own, and it was Armand who nailed it. And now the quick turnover, Harry S. Truman for 4 straight points. It was a big-time block. Blocked again, and they stopped him a 3rd time. Here is Charles Steinmetz again on the attack. Steinmetz for 2, it's no good. And it's rebounded by Truman. They take it all the way up the far side again. It's Chapman. Chapman turns it over.
3 Bergkoetter blocks.
Yep, Dean Bergkoetter, 3 quick blocks. And Zach Sharlin has an open lane. Sharlin out to the corner. Dean Bergkoetter for 3, it's no good. And now bobble. And it goes to Truman. So Harry Truman will inbound with Chapman. Chapman takes the 1 bounce pass. And now he gives it right off to Vaughn. Now Winton with the ball. Winton back out to Chapman. Chapman looking for a lane. Chapman for 2, it's no good. Rebounded by Robbie Segarich. Segarich up along the far side. Segarich making a man miss. Inside the paint, he's tripped up. And the ball stays with the Firebirds.
I'm not even sure what happened there. 1 second, Segarich is dribbling. The next, he's on the floor.
Wait, he tried to slice through and was just barely tripped up. So it'll be an inbound for Sharlin. Sharlin will have options. Bergkoetter, Segarich, Stenardo, and Steinmetz. Sharlin, Steinmetz, and Stenardo going back and forth. Sharlin for 3, it was no good. And now Chapman takes it up across the paint, in the 3-point line, and across the Holy Ghost Prep emblem at half court. Vaughn with the ball. Vaughn out to the side. Now Winton. Winton to the top again. Vaughn back to Winton. Winton around the 3-point line. Gives it back up to the top for Rogers. Rogers with a dump off to Chapman. Now Winton resets the ball at the top of the key again. And the Truman back where they started. Winton out to the side. It's a long 3. It was no good. Rebounded by Winton, who lofts up his block. Dean Bergkoetter on the attack, and Bergkoetter couldn't corral it. And Truman regains possession with Winton. Winton, a cross-country pass. It's cut back and he lost it again. Now Mark Stenardo getting his name called for the first time today. Stenardo up along the far side. Stenardo is through the hands of a Truman defender. And a timeout is called by HGP. So Zach Sharlin had the ball when the Firebirds called timeout, so the Firebirds will start it with him most likely after this 30-second non-full timeout. So 3:13 to play in the first quarters. The Firebirds by 4, 6-2.
So I guess we
We're terrible. Good. So here is Mark Stenardo just across the 3-point line. He gives it right back to Segarich, and the Firebirds keep the same 5 men on the court. It's Sharlin. Sharlin up. It's no good for 2, and rebounded by Truman. Here's Chapman. Chapman taking up across the 3-point line into the corner of the paint and backs off. And that's the top again for Vaughn. Vaughn to the near side. It's another quick dump off out to the corner again. That's a pump fake by Chapman. Chapman spins. It was like a half side step. Now it's stripped away again. Dean Bergkoetter with a great defensive play. And Bergkoetter threw the... not Bergkoetter, it was Mark Stenardo. Stenardo with a great defensive play and it finishes with a clean 2. And then... now Truman takes it with Winton. Winton with the pass into the paint is bobbled and this time taken. And was he out of bounds? He was. This time it was Bergkoetter. And Bergkoetter stepped out before we could finish the defensive takeaway. And Brandon Bass comes on for the first time today, and he comes on for Dean Bergkoetter.
And Blunt comes in the game for Truman.
And indeed, Blunt is coming in. Chapman coming off for Truman. So now Fernandez with the ball. And Fernandez dumps it back off to Vaughn. Vaughn right back out to the top. Back to Vaughn. Vaughn, a half sidestep. Vaughn into the paint. It's knocked away. Recovered by Truman. Now out to the corner. Truman looking for a reset. It's Armand with the ball. Armand lost it. Vaughn recovers. Now Vaughn lost it. His barely stays in bounds. Now it's lobbed up for two. It was no good. Winton who took the shot. Vaughn will with the ball at the top again. Vaughn step back fade. It's no good. And it's taken up away again. Robbie Segarich with the ball. Segarich up along the near side. Segarich across half court. That's to Zach Sharlin. Sharlin for a long three. It's no good. Rebounded by Charles Steinmetz. Charles to Stenardo. Stenardo out to the top again for Segarich. Segarich back to Steinmetz. Steinmetz the spin move. Makes a man miss. Steinmetz lost it. Recovered by Truman. It's a foul. And Mark Stenardo called for the foul with 1:07 to play in the first quarter.
That may have been a smart play. I mean, he was going on a fast break. Might as well take the foul if you can get it.
Yep. Especially considering it's not a shooting foul either.
Yeah, definitely.
So the first foul of the game for the Firebirds. Fouls have been a big-time problem all throughout the season so far, but they've certainly done a good job keeping that at a low number so far today. 55 seconds to play. It's Armand with the ball. Armand with a pass back, and now a loose ball going into the paint, and it's out of bounds. It was Rogers couldn't corral it for Truman.
Did we talk about McDonald coming in?
We did not. So McDonald comes on, Aden McDonald for the Firebirds.
Bergkoetter goes out.
And now McDonald up along the far side. McDonald makes a man miss again. McDonald in between the front of the emblem and the top of the three-point line. Brandon Bass finds his man. Mark Stenardo couldn't finish. Steinmetz almost went over the top of Rogers for a rebound, but couldn't finish. 26 seconds in ticking to play in the first quarter.
Vaughn, left side. Hands it right off to Blunt on the left side. Blunt at the key. Matched up on Bass. Hands it right back off. Who was that? It's Vaughn again.
So Vaughn with the ball for Truman. In between the emblem and the three-point line. Truman to the rim. It's good. Now the buzzer beater attempt. It's a loft all the way down, and it's going to hit us. So it just barely clipped off the backboard, and that would have been a multi-$1,000 throw if it didn't hit the backboard.
Lands right at Caden's feet.
Yes, it did, but that could have been way worse. I gotta say that. If that didn't hit the backboard, that's probably hitting all of us. Anyway, McDonald's long sidearm attempt goes nowhere. So Truman finishes the first 7 minutes with a 2-point layup to cut the lead in half. It's now 8-4 Firebirds. 7 minutes down, 21 to go, and the Firebirds by 4. Now Truman will start with the ball. It's Vaughn with it, up across half court. Vaughn makes a little bit of a cutback move. Now trying to make a man miss and shake off Stenardo. He will not be able to. Now it's Winton with the ball. Into the paint again, and now pass back out to Vaughn. Vaughn up to the side. And now Vaughn could hold on to it again. This time he's not able to. It's Winton who takes over for Truman. Winton slicing through. Winton lofts up for two. It's no good. Tipped back up into the air and rebounded by almost by the Firebirds. Bergkoetter went down awkwardly, but he gets back up. And now quick inbounds. It was Jeremiah Muturi who had a quick inbound looking for McDonald. But it was blown off by a whistle before it got to him. So now Muturi would do it again. Muturi throws it right into Robbie Segarich. Aden Brody, actually. And now Brody was right back to McDonald. McDonald, now to Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter after the cross. So Jeremiah Muturi for three. It's good. Muturi makes it 11-4 in favor of the Firebirds. Here's Thomas now for Truman. Thomas off across half court. Thomas slicing through the defenders. It's Bess and McDonald on him very well. And now a sidearm two-pointer goes nowhere. And rebounded by Muturi.
There have been very interesting shots taken so far this game.
Yeah. So now Muturi gives up to McDonald. McDonald to the rim, and he was fouled. So 5:40 to play in the first half. It's 11-4 Firebirds. And it's Adam McDonald going to the line to shoot two.
McDonald being the only freshman on JV.
Mm-hmm. Only freshman and then 4 juniors.
All the rest on varsity.
Mm-hmm. So McDonald misses his first foul shot. He'll shoot one more. Here's McDonald's second attempt, and that one falls. So McDonald goes 1 for 2 at the line. It's now 12-4 in favor of the Firebirds. Here's Thomas. Thomas up across half court.
A lot of communication between Muturi and McDonald there.
Yeah. And now Truman goes to the rim. It's good. So Truman with her 6th point of the game. It's now 12-6 for the Firebirds. A quick turnover, and it's now a 4-point play for Harry S. Truman. And the Firebirds' lead has now been cut in half to 12-8. Jeremiah Muturi to the rim. It's no good. Rebounded by Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter airballs 2. And here comes Harry S. Truman.
That was not a friendly ball off the glass. That went
Yeah,
perfectly straight.
It certainly wasn't. And a whistle goes against the Firebirds. So 5 minutes even to play in the second quarter. And now Witten goes to the line to shoot 2 for Truman, looking to make it a one-shot game. Witten's first one is up and good, and it's now custody down to 3 to 12-9.
This is now a one-possession game.
So 4 fouls for Truman, 2 fouls for Holy Ghost. Witten will shoot it a second. And Witten misses it to the left, rebounded by Robbie Segarich.
That's Brody.
That's Brody. Aden Brody gets the pass back. Brody gives it right back. This time to Segarich. Segarich out to Bergkoetter. Dean Bergkoetter to the rim is good. And Bergkoetter makes it a 5-point game again for the Firebirds.
Great layup by Bergkoetter there. Get the one-possession lead out of the way. Make it a 2. And now we have
Tukarski. So it's Tukarski going back up to Witten. Witten right back, and there was a little bit of pump fake by Banks. And thankfully for him, he didn't travel. Now Tukarski again. Right back out to Witten. Witten, cross country. And now back to Thomas. Thomas at the top. To Tukarski. Now here's Tukarski for 3. It's no good. Rebounded in the paint. This time it falls. And Truman brings the lead back down to 3. Here's Dean Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter just beyond the 3-point arc. Gives it right back up to McDonald. McDonald to Segarich. Segarich has McDonald open, but he waves him off. Segarich back to McDonald from beyond 3. McDonald. Just inside the 3-point line. Now gets back to Aden Brody. Brody pump fakes a shot. Back to McDonald. McDonald for 3. This time it's good. Added McDonald a long 3 to make it 17-11 in favor of the Firebirds.
that shot was like Luka against my Knicks last night.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Luka
Right
always
off the
owns
hands.
Knicks.
What?
Luka always owns the Knicks. They have to quick turnover.
Everyone always owns the Knicks.
Here comes Aden Brody on the attack. It's good. And Aden Brody with a big time layup to make it 19-11.
Aden Brody turned into the Jordan logo on his way up.
Now to Karski. Holding onto the ball for Truman. Karski going around the horn. It's a haywire pass, and the Firebirds take over.
Ball went right into the Firebird bench, and they recover the ball. We're heading right back downfield.
So now here is Mark Stenardo and Robbie Segarich coming up across half court to meet Bass, Brody, and Dean Bergkoetter. Now here's Aden Brody. Brody gives it right back up to Bass. Bass over to the corner. Robbie Segarich for three. It's no good. And Truman takes the rebound. Now Harry Truman with the ball with Winton. Winton all the way down. Looking for Tukarski. That 2-pointer was no good. It was almost an air ball. That's taken back to Dean Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter to the rim. It's good. Wow. Dean Bergkoetter with a brilliant 2, and it's 21-11. The Firebirds have scored 7 straight.
Mahomes throw right there over to Bergkoetter.
Yeah.
Get a nice layup in. Make this a 10-point game from what was a one-possession game less than 3 minutes ago.
Now Thomas with the ball in between the emblem and the three-point line. Thomas with a little bit of a shuffle step to the side. And now, wow, a big move by Winton, but he couldn't finish on the 3. But Winton with a big slice and shook off his man. Here's Segarich, dumps it right back off to McDonald. McDonald cutting through, and he couldn't finish the bicycle layup. Here is Winton back at the Tukarski. Tukarski takes up across half court. Now into the corner. They back off Winton for 2. And the Firebirds take over. Oh, no, they will not. So it's almost a wholesale change for Truman. They sub 4 men off and get 4 new fresh pairs of legs. 1:33 to play in this first half. Firebirds by 10, 21-11, and they'll have the inbound. Here's Truman offset inbound. It's Winton who pulled off a move to the paint. Winton now the dump off. It's a long 3. It's no good. And that was Blunt. And Brody stepped out of bounds, apparently underneath his own net. So Truman gets a second chance. That's a small mistake by Aden Brody. So here is Winton. Winton with the dump off. Blunt stepping back. One with the underhands. Now Vaughn. Vaughn out to the corner. Blunt makes a charge in. Blunt dumps it off. It's knocked away. Did he go out of bounds? Did. So 58.6 seconds to play in this first half. 21-11 it remains as a Firebird lead. The Firebirds were only up by 3 just 3 minutes ago. Now up by a massive 10. Scoring 7 straight in the last 3 minutes, but neither team has scored a point in the last 60 seconds. Now here is Blunt. Blunt back up to the top to Vaughn. Vaughn slowly works his way in, gets it right back up to Blunt. Blunt into the corner. Gets his own pass back. Now looking for Winton. Winton gives it right back up. Winton back into the corner. It's a lofting 2. It's no good to back up. Rebounded by Truman. In the paint. Back up to Winton for 3. Winton hits it. Ooh. And that cuts the lead back down to 7 and ends the scoreless drought for Harry S. Truman. Here is HGP trying to find a way up. It's Aden Brody takes it. Aden Brody has 2 points already, and Brody walks. Aden Brody travels just outside the 3-point line. And now Truman takes over with 19.5 to go. So now Chapman holds on to it for Harry S. Truman, who gives it up to Vaughn. Ten seconds to play. 9 seconds. Vaughn dumps it right back off. It's Winton now. Winton with 3 seconds. 2 seconds to play. Winton steps back. It's a long 3. It's no good. And that is how the first half will end. Your score after 14 minutes of play: the Firebirds 21, Harry S. Truman 14. And we'll be back after this 10-minute intermission. That's Perpy. So 21-14, the Firebirds lead Harry S. Truman coming out of halftime. 14 minutes gone, 14 minutes to go. And we have a freshly set scoreboard. The scoreboard still says 8 minutes, but it should only be 7. So Mark Stenardo takes the ball up across half court. Stenardo from just inside the three-point line. Throws it back out to the corner. Takes a dump off. It's regained by Robbie Segarich. Segarich out to Dean Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter for 2 didn't fall. And it's rebounded by Harry S. Truman.
I'm curious how this clock's gonna work. Like,
Well, I mean,
will they let?
timeout.
Will they let?
What?
I don't know. No, we'll see.
I think the next time out, I'd probably take a minute off of it. So Truman had the ball knocked away. They made it by Colin McGrenehan. So 6:23 to play. And the scoreboard says 7:23, but that's 7:29. All right, and it's knocked away. A great inbound defensively for the Firebirds. It was Mark Stenardo who knocked the ball away.
Drinking no.
Yeah, now the referees will go over to fix the clock. We're supposed to say 7:29, but it'll say 6:29 in a second.
Hopefully.
So 21-14, the Firebirds lead. Now the scoreboard is fixed.
Alright, it's fixed. Ref's talking over with the sidelines.
All right.
People are laughing. Alright, everything's going
We
good.
got it. All right, 21-14 in favor of the Firebirds. Truman will inbound. From the paint, it's lofted up and rebounded by Charles Steinmetz.
Steinmetz got that 3-on-1 rebound. That was a great play right there, Minge, and to keep the ball.
So Steinmetz comes back off to Segarich. Segarich back off to McGrenehan. McGrenehan out of the corner, and it's knocked away by Truman before it got to Steinmetz. So here is the inbound, looking for Steinmetz. They'll find him. Charles Steinmetz out to McGrenehan. Colin McGrenehan out at the top to Mark Stenardo. Stenardo holding on to it. Now Stenardo with a pass back across to McGrenehan. McGrenehan out to Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter goes right back to Mark Stenardo. Stenardo underneath the rim to McGrenehan, and McGrenehan couldn't finish. And now it's a race for the ball. It's loose, and it might be a jump ball. It will be. And Harry S. Truman takes it. 5:46 to play in this third quarter. So scoreless through the first minute and 15 seconds. Truman takes up across half court. It's Vaughn. Vaughn, stutter steps. Vaughn getting blocked all around. And now Steinmetz looking to force an awkward pass. He's unable to. Here is Winton. Winton to the rim. It's up and no good. Rebound in the paint. That one no good. Winton tried to finish it up, and he can't. As Charles Steinmetz takes over the rebound.
Steinmetz is getting all those rebounds right here. He could be a big role player in terms of getting the ball back to Ghost.
So Steinmetz throws to Bergkoetter, who couldn't finish the 2, and now Harry has Truman to the rim. That one's no good. And rebounded by Bergkoetter. Did he step out? He did. Dean Bergkoetter just barely lands out of bounds. And both teams scoreless for the first 2 minutes of play here in this third quarter. So the Firebirds still up by 7, 21-14. So here is Armand. Armand, and he gets knocked away by Steinmetz. Recovered right back to Armand, and it's stripped, and it's a foul. And it was Connor Graham called for the foul. There's a foul on the floor, so Harry S. Truman will inbound. The first foul by either team of the half. Chapman with a quick inbound to Armand. Armand back out to the corner. It's down the three-point line, looking to make a move in. He's open, and it's a travel, as Chapman couldn't keep his feet steady.
Huh?
So both teams on nothing run in the last 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
I mean, hey, we'll take it. It's nice defensive commentary.
So Robbie Segarich will inbound from underneath her own net.
Coach Butler making an interesting call in terms of pushing the ball right back up downfield.
Yeah. Now Segarich is right back to Stenardo. Stenardo back to Connor Graham. Graham inbound right over to Charles Steinmetz. Everyone touches the ball, and Steinmetz finishes with a 2.
I cannot tell you what I just saw, but I loved it.
That was a great play. Now here is Harry S. Truman as Chapman slicing through, and it is no good. Rebounded by Charles Steinmetz, and Steinmetz has got a lot of rebounds today, both offensively and defensively. Now Mark Stenardo from across the emblem. Stenardo over to Robbie Segarich. Segarich looking for Colin McGrenehan, and he couldn't finish the 2. Knocks back away by Connor Graham, and Chapman went down for Truman, but he gets back up. So here's a quick inbound for the Fibers. Steinmetz keeps it in, and he's able to get it to Segarich, and it's an over and back penalty called against Robbie Segarich. I had an argument between the Truman coach and the referees after the play. So more debate still going on. It looks like Harry S. Truman will hold on to the ball. And the Truman coach needs to make sure he doesn't get ejected.
Wow.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Heated argument over on the first out of bounds call, despite the fact Truman got the ball regardless.
Yeah. So here is Truman. They'll go back with it. Harry S. Truman taking up across half court. Being pressured. And a foul is called. So Chapman comes up to the scorer's table for the inbound. Banks will come up to the scorer's table as well, but this time for a sub-in.
I don't even know what
So
just happened
Banks being subbed in for Chapman. Looks like there was a late sub. That's some clapping from Charles Steinmetz after the play. Get the Firebirds hyped up. So after a little bit of a long delay, Truman takes back over. And Truman will start with the ball, and they're on offensive zone. Here is Witten, sorry. And it'll be a foul called against the Firebirds.
I mean, that was close. He did slap him on the wrist, though. It's a reasonable foul call.
So 23-14, the Firebirds lead. Truman has not scored a point yet this third quarter. There have been 3 minutes and 24 seconds elapsed of it. Here is Truman coming on in, up for 2. It's no good. Rebound is taken away by the Firebirds with Connor Graham. Graham up along the far side with help. Dumps it off to Zach Sharlin, and Sharlin turns it over. Here comes Truman. Harry S. Truman, they lost the ball to start. Now it's Witten. Witten for 3, and it's short, off the outside of the rim. Rebounded by Mark Stenardo. Here is Stenardo, up across half court. Mark Stenardo dumps it right back off to Graham. Graham up to the top. Steinmetz, top of the key, is no good.
From the view of the table, that was right middle shot.
Yeah.
That was perfect, except for the fact it didn't go in.
Now whistle sounds, timeout called by Truman. So Harry S. Truman has not scored a point through the first 4 minutes and 8 seconds of this second quarter. The Firebirds only with 2 of their own, but the way this game is going, the Firebirds will only need that much. 23-14, HGP on top. Can they continue the momentum after these final 2 minutes and 52 seconds of the third quarter? Now here's Truman off the inbounds. Harry Truman into the paint. Looking to do something. It's a jump ball. And Truman holds possession. So Banks will inbound it for Harry S. Truman. Down by 9. Banks goes to the corner. Truman working their way around the outskirts of the three-point line. Here's Tukarski. Tukarski out across again. It's Vaughn. Vaughn around the three-point line. Tukarski is off the foot of a Firebird and stays with Truman. So now a sub for Truman, and they get a pair of fresh legs on, and Harry S. Truman holds on to the offensive possession. Here's Tukarski. Tukarski around the three-point line. Now a spin move. Tukarski over across. Now it's a long three for Truman. It's off the front of the rim. No good. Rebounded by Harry S. Truman. It was Rogers to get the rebound. Top of the key three-pointer. That one's no good as well. Hits back up and a foul under the rim. And Harry S. Truman will hold on to possession again. So 2 shots for Harry S. Truman. It will be number 35, Armin, shooting them both. 5 minutes and 4 seconds of scoreless basketball put up by the Firebird defense, and that comes to an end as Armin makes his first foul shot. So the lead cut down to 8. It's now 23-15 in favor of the Firebirds. Now Dean Bergkoetter subs on for Robbie Segarich. So the second foul shot is up and no good, and Mark Stenardo takes it up. Stenardo up across the three-point line. Now past the emblem and half court. Mark Stenardo holding on to it. Now it dumps back off to Brandon Bass. Bass couldn't find his intended target, Zach Sharlin, and Sharlin is so scoreless throughout this entire game, and you rarely ever see that from Zach Sharlin. And now here's a steal. Brandon Bass takes it back over. Bass back out to Mark Stenardo. Stenardo slicing through. Stenardo to the rim, and it falls. Only the 5th total point of this third quarter for either team, and the 4th for the Firebirds. So here's the quick inbound from Harry S. Truman. As full court press is taken away by the Firebirds. Here's a quick inbound. That one's no good. And a jump ball. This time it should stay with the Firebirds. And it will. So 1:14 to play in the third quarter. Only 5 total points scored this quarter for both teams. 4 by the Firebirds, 1 by the Truman.
I mean, great defensive play. That's just how it's coming down to.
Yeah.
I mean, the fouls have, of course, been in trouble for the Firebirds so far in the 7-ish minutes we've played so far. Mm-hmm. But overall, it's looking like the Firebirds are definitely easing into a better defensive position than they were to, say, start the year.
Stutter step along the side after the quick inbound. And a foul called against Chapman of Harry S. Truman. So the Firebirds hold on to possession underneath their own net. 25-15 HGP leads. Here's the inbound. It's lofted up and good. Dean Bergkoetter makes the 2, and the Firebirds in the lead up to 12. Harry S. Truman now with the ball from underneath their own net. Picking it up across the paint and up across half court. Truman from just beyond 3 looking to find the man, and it's off the leg of a Firebird and sent down by Stenardo, but it won't matter. 55.7 seconds to play in this third quarter. 4 fouls for the Firebirds, 2 for Harry S. Truman in the second half. So here's the inbound to Chapman. Chapman cutting through. Chapman for 2, it's no good. Gets his own rebound. Looking to find the man, it's a jump ball. And the ball goes to the Firebirds. So Zach Sharlin will inbound for the Firebirds underneath their own net. Sharlin finds his man, Mark Stenardo, throws back up to Dean Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter lost it. And it's a much-needed takeaway for Tukarski for three. It's no good. Rebounded by Chapman. That one's no good, and it's out of bounds. And Chapman landed out of bounds after he got his own rebound. 37.9 seconds to play in the third quarter. Sharlin to inbound again. Sharlin finds his man, Mark Stenardo. Stenardo up across half court. Stenardo. And it's a bobble kept in. And now it's a steal for Truman. Whistle sounds. And a foul called against Dean Bergkoetter of the Firebirds.
Yeah, that was a correct call. Clearly pushed him off his balance. I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta call it. But overall, it seems to be a generally good reffing job today.
Yeah, I was just say, not a lot of bad calls, if any. So now Harry has Truman up on the far side, and
There we go again.
a pushing foul called against it looked like Brandon Bass. If it wasn't him, it was against Zach Sharlin.
It was Bass.
All right.
Then again, I mean, that's another foul. You need to call it.
Yeah. 26.8 seconds to play in this third quarter. Truman with the ball up along the far side. It's thrown back up to the top. Now a slice. Chapman went down slowly. He gets back up. And now it's rebounded by Aden Brody. Brody has 2 points today. Aden Brody doing it himself. Brody passes it back out to Robbie Segarich. Segarich to the top of McDonald. McDonald slicing through. He's open and he couldn't find it. Rebounded by Brandon Bass. It's good. Bass finishes. 4 seconds to play. Truman with one last chance. Truman. And they don't shoot it. And that is how the third quarter comes to an end.
Boom.
29-15. Holy Ghost Prep. Your score after 21 minutes of play. 21 down, 7 to go. The Firebirds dominant in the third quarter again.
Despite all the defense.
There was 1 point scored that whole third quarter by Harry S. Truman, and that was a foul shot. Truman did not make a single shot through those the final 7 minutes.
That's big. Great overall defense from Gus there.
So again, Firebirds by 14 with 7 minutes to go. Here's Truman lofting it towards the net. That one's no good. Out of bounds. Off the Firebirds. So Winton took the shot, couldn't corral the inbound, or couldn't corral the rebound, and it'll be inbounded by Chapman for Truman. Chapman lofts it up, and he finds his man at the top. Now back down to Winton. I had it right the first time. Now lofting it towards the net, and the first basket of the last 8 minutes made by Harry S. Truman. And it was by Tukarski, and a timeout called by HGP. So 23 seconds gone in the fourth quarter. 2 more points added on for Harry S. Truman, but they still trail by 12. So here's Zach Sharlin. Sharlin inbounds to McDonald, gets his own pass back. Sharlin with the ball over around at his own paint. Sharlin inching his way up. And a whistle sounds against the Firebirds. So Truman takes over. So here is Harry S. Truman coming up across half court, and they lose it out of bounds. The ball belongs to the Firebirds. Aden McDonald applying good pressure on defense to force the ball out of bounds. So here's the inbound for the Firebirds. It's Segarich going right to McDonald. Aden McDonald with the ball. McDonald finds Segarich again. Segarich one bouncer to Aden Brody, and Brody couldn't corral it. Now Truman takes it back up after their own inbound. Harry S. Truman. It's Chapman who takes it up. Chapman being pressured off. Chapman to the top. And now it's knocked away, taken away by the Firebirds with Steinmetz off the steal. Now Steinmetz to Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter to Brody, and he went down awkwardly. Aden Brody stumbled over his own legs. He went down. That was scary the way he went down. But he gets back up and is walking it off. So Truman takes it up across half court again. Harry S. Truman with a double cutback. Now out to the side. It's a long three-pointer. It's no good. And that was by Banks. Now rebounded into the paint. It's good. Rogers makes the two-pointer. 5.5 to play in regulation. Now Steinmetz finds McDonald. McDonald to Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter right back. And it's too far for Aden Brody.
Not a good start to the fourth quarter for Ghost at all.
Yeah. The lead sits at 10 for the Firebirds, 29-19. Here's Rogers for two. It's up and good. 6 straight points scored by Harry S. Truman. They could be pulling themselves back into it.
Ton of little mistakes is really costing the Firebirds here.
Yeah. Now here is McDonald. Aden McDonald cuts him from 3. McDonald over to Charles Steinmetz. Steinmetz for 2. He's blocked. And a foul called against Harry S. Truman. So here is Charles Steinmetz. His first one at the line is up and good. The first points of the fourth quarter for the Firebirds. And the second one is up and good. So 31-21, Charles Steinmetz goes 2 for 2 at the line. Here's Truman up along the near side. Slicing through, he's blocked. And it's taken away by Harry S. Truman. And a foul called against the Firebirds. 1-1 for Harry S. Truman.
That marks the 7th foul of the half for the Firebirds.
Yeah.
Third quarter didn't seem like an issue, but in the fourth quarter, with the game getting much closer than it ever has been, it's seeming that this could be an issue.
Yep. So Rogers to shoot 1-1. He makes his first. So lead brought back down to 9. Rogers dribbles thrice at the line. Now one more time. And makes a second. So Rogers goes 2 for 2 at the line for Harry S. Truman. Here's McDonald. McDonald slicing in and out. Aden McDonald behind the back move. Back out across the Steinmetz. Back to McDonald. 4:39 and taking the Firebirds looking to hold on another 8-point lead. Mark Stenardo with the ball. Stenardo back out to the top. Finds Bobby Segarich. Segarich to the rim and it falls. Robbie Segarich has been somewhat silent all of today. Makes one of his very few shots. And it's now 33-23. Here's Truman. There's a man miss. Makes a man miss again. Now left to back up. McDonald couldn't get the steal down. And the three-pointer was no good. Rebounded up. That one's no good as well. Truman one more time and it's good. Armin the junior makes this 2. Here is Robbie Segarich slicing through. It's up and good. Ooh. Robbie Segarich and Uno.
Great play by Segarich there, just chucking it up before he knew he was going to take that big fall.
Yeah. So timeout. The foul called by Chapman on Truman, and now a full timeout called before the one foul shot. So Segarich to go to the line to shoot 1 after we come back from this full timeout. With 3:50 to play in regulation, the Firebirds ahead by 10. Robbie Segarich at the line to shoot 1. He misses his first, and then it's knocked out of bounds by HGP. So Harry S. Truman takes over, and they have some work to do, down by 10, with 3:50 to play. The Firebirds need to be careful not to foul. That could give the Truman some free points that the Firebirds cannot afford to give up. Now here is Robbie Segarich at the steal. Segarich pulls off. Now Segarich back out across. It's Mark Stenardo. Stenardo from in between the emblem and the three-point line. Gives it right back to Robbie Segarich. Segarich back to Bass. Bass now to McDonald. McDonald backs down to Robbie Segarich. And Segarich lost it. Recovered by McDonald. Back out to the corner to Bergkoetter, who chooses not to shoot. Bergkoetter to Segarich. Segarich after the corner again to McDonald. McDonald had Segarich open again, decided not to pass this time. McDonald back out across. To Stenardo. Stenardo to the top, it's intercepted. Here's Harry S. Truman on the easy attack, and it's up and good. So that was Witten who made the two-pointer. It's now 35-27. Here is Mark Stenardo. Stenardo slicing through, and he is fouled.
And I'm correct. 3-3 in the last 6. How can you win 10 of your last 12 for 3-3 in the last 6? Yeah. Knicks win, Sixers win, Sixers win. Knicks. How can you statistically win 10 and 12? You just said 3-3.
Yes, it's Sixers.
Not true.
That's a foul off the inbounds. And it's a foul going against Truman. And it was Rogers being called for the foul.
Okay, never mind. You're right.
So here's Charles Steinmetz, and Steinmetz misses his first. Steinmetz went 2 for 2 in his last visit to the foul line, looking to go 1 for 2 this time. 2:39 to play in regulation, 35-27 Firebirds lead. The second foul shot is up and good. So it's now 36-27. Harry S. Truman takes it up. It's Thomas taking it up for Truman. Thomas with the ball. Tigers down by 9, looking to do something. Truman at the top. It's now Chapman with the ball. Chapman out of the corner. It's knocked away, and the ball goes out of bounds off of Robbie Segarich and into the stands.
I mean, Truman's going to need to make a big comeback here if they have any shot at winning this game. Down by 9, 2 minutes to play. This is getting really, really, really scary if you go to Truman.
It's lofted back up. Now here's Dean Bergkoetter recovers. Goes right back up to Aden McDonald. McDonald across half court. McDonald out to the side to Stenardo. Stenardo to Dean Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter holds on. Then he goes right back to Stenardo. Mark Stenardo. Slicing through. Picked right back up by Steinmetz, and Steinmetz can't finish the 2. Now here is Truman. Mitten on the attack, and he's fouled. A blocking foul going against Robbie Segarich. So 36-27, the lead stays at 9 for the Firebirds, but Truman will go to the line to shoot 2. And that's Armin shooting 2. So Witten's first one is no good. They'll shoot one more. They're making an 8-point game. That shot is up and good. So 36-28 in favor of the Firebirds. It's Segarich, and he's blocked. It's taken away by Robbie Segarich, and now it's lost to Harry S. Truman. Out in the corner, it's a long 3. It's good.
Wow.
And Truman are crawling back into it. Witten makes a big-time 3, and just like that, the lead is cut almost in half to 5. 36-31 in favor of the Firebirds, with a minute 34 to play in regulation. Can the Firebirds hang on, or will Truman pull back in and possibly win the game in regulation? Alright, so Robbie Segarich with the ball to inbound. Gives it right back to McDonald. A minute 30 to play. McDonald gets across half court. McDonald pulls off of it. McDonald dumps it right back up to Stenardo. Stenardo goes to Dean Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter out to Segarich. Segarich, and he's fouled. So Chapman called for the foul again for Truman, and Robbie Segarich will go to the line to shoot 2 for the Firebirds. So 1-1 for Robbie Segarich. His first one is up and good, and Segarich makes the score a 6-point game. So if Segarich makes this one, it'd be a 3-shot deficit for Truman, and that might put the game away. So Segarich, second shot is up and no good, rebounded by Truman. Truman down by 2 3-point shots. So 37-31. Here is Winton. Winton for 3, and he can't get that one. Rebounded by Truman, kept inbounds. Rogers with the ball. Rogers overthrows everybody, and it's going to be out of bounds off Truman, and the Firebird defense makes a big-time stand.
I mean, that's crucial. Let's late in the game, under a minute left to play. If the Firebirds could take over like that, that will just, like, totally win the game right there.
So Zach Sharlin will inbound. Sharlin, a very rare game with 0 points for him. Sharlin throws it right into Robbie Segarich. Segarich to the top for Steinmetz. Steinmetz gets it right back. Now Segarich again. Robbie Segarich finds Mark Stenardo. Stenardo to McDonald. McDonald, second step. McDonald out to the corner to Stenardo. Stenardo finds his man Sharlin at the top. Sharlin is double teamed and fouled. And timeout will be called by HGP. 34.1 to play in regulation. 37-31, the Firebirds lead with 34.1 seconds to play.
We're better.
So here's the quick inbound for the Firebirds. It's Mark Stenardo up across half court. Stenardo finds his man, it's McDonald, McDonald back up to the top to Stenardo. Stenardo out across to Sharlin. Sharlin back to McDonald. McDonald, and he's fouled. 19.5 seconds to play in regulation. It remains 37-31, and one foul shot made here could put the game away for the Firebirds.
Still a two-possession game. It's definitely reachable if both of these are missed.
So McDonald will shoot 1-1 for the Firebirds. His first one is up and good, and it makes it a 3-shot game in favor of the Firebirds. Now McDonald's second. It's up and it's good.
Ooh, instead of missing, McDonald goes 2 for 2 and essentially puts this game away if the Firebird defense can clutch up.
So 39-31 in favor of HGP. Truman will inbound. 19.5 seconds to play in regulation. So here's the quick inbound to Thomas. The Firebirds just basically can't foul. Thomas out to the corner. Mitten for 3 is no good. Rebounded by Bergkoetter. Bergkoetter, and he's fouled. So 8.4 seconds to play in regulation. The Firebirds will win this game, but it just comes down to what will the score be as Bergkoetter will shoot 1-on-1. So Bergkoetter dribbles it twice and misses his first one in the 1-on-1. And a timeout called by Harry S. Truman. So 6.2 seconds to play in regulation. The Firebirds lead by 8 and will win this game. But can Truman get one final shot off before it ends? I'll be back in a few seconds.
Here we go. This is it.
So here's the inbound for Truman. 7 seconds left. 6 seconds. Truman with the inbound. Mitten for 3. It's no good. And a travel call with 1.1 seconds to go against Charles Steinmetz. Here's the quick inbound for Truman. It's a quick 3 before the buzzer. It's no good. So with that, the Firebirds end the dominant offensive game. Actually, on both sides of the ball, dominant. They only allowed 1 point the entire third quarter, and that may have been the difference from a win and a loss. But today, it's a big W as the Firebirds take it by 8, 39-31. So again, Firebirds win by 8. In a few minutes, we'll come with our first varsity game of our varsity doubleheader between William Tennant and the Chamonix. And that's followed up by the main event of the evening, our varsity game between Harry S. Truman and Holy Ghost Prep. So again, your final score, the Firebirds 39, the Tigers 31.
Holy Ghost is on the move.
Yeah, Firebirds had a lot of momentum.
Right from the jump for the Firebirds, who look really good.